Peter Pan, Chapter 14, The Quiet Life. As time went by, Wendy and her brothers began to forget the life they had left. Their house in London, their parents, and Nana all seemed very far away. Wendy knew that the nursery window would always be open for her and her brothers to return. What worried her though was that John only dimly remembered their parents, and Michael hardly remembered them at all. In fact, Michael thought of Wendy as his mother now. Wendy felt it was her duty to keep their own life from fading away. She decided to make a test for her brothers. Just like in school, the last boys don't last well. They only make small writing slips for themselves inside the round table. They began writing and answering the test questions. When he created some yes or no questions, such as was father tired and mother, she made up a multi-choice questions like, what was the colors of mother's eyes? Green, blue, green, or brown. She also had them write essays. The topics were how I spent my last vacation in England and a related description of the nursery. Once the boys were finished, Wendy marked their seats with a check mark if the answers were correct. She made an X if they were wrong. Needless to say, the answers the last boys wrote was silly. They had never met mother and father or lived in a family's house in London. Still, they all had fun. Only it was sad to see how many X's John had on his test. Peter was the only boy who did not take the test, except for Wendy. He hated all mothers. Peter was also the only boy in the accent who couldn't write or spell. He felt he had more important things to think about, like his next adventure, and adventures occurred every day. Sometimes it was a bear hunt. Other times it was a tangle with the parks or the Indians. The little underground house was quite part of the children's life. The adventures outside were much livelier, and though Wendy liked the quiet life at home, she admired the daring and carefree spirit of Peter and his gang. John and Michael both enjoyed the excitement of Neverland, but it was scary and dangerous. To please Wendy, Peter invited his own gang. He would pretend not to have adventures. He pretended to live the life that John and Michael had before coming to Neverland. He would catch a ball in the air or throw a ball to the other boys. Then he would push each other around, trying to get the ball away from each other. Peter also went for quiet walks, for what he called a breath of air. Sometimes he just sat still, watching the sun go down. It was always an unusual sight to see Peter doing nothing. He looked so solemn during these times that no one had to laugh. But this game did not last too long. Pretty soon, Peter lost interest in pretending to be a normal boy and went back to his adventures. When Peter went out alone, Wendy never knew quite what to expect. Often he'd say he's gone out for a breath of air, But when Wendy went outside later, she would find something strange on the ground, a torn jacket with golden sleeves or an Indian war club. Other times he would tell a story about how he shot a grizzly bear, but no bear was ever found. Sometimes he came home from his quiet walk with his head bleeding. Then Wendy would fuss over him and wash his cut with warm water. She was never quite sure what to believe, but there were some adventures that she knew to be true because she was in them. Mm, 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 mm.